It's a tour you can take sitting home by yourself. It's time once more to go Jeff your shelf.
Hey friends, welcome to part 3 of my bookshelf tour 2021. I only add the date because obviously these shelves will change when I move, when I add to the collections, and I'm leaving myself a little window to update them in the future if necessary. Anyway, when it comes to authors I collect, Joe Lansdale is second only to Stephen King. And that's not because he's my second favorite author or it's not ranked in priority or anything. It's just so happens that I found Joe Lansdale when I was in a collecting mood, and I discovered him really late. It used to be Stephen King, then Clive Barker, then Robert McCammon were the top 3, then Brian Lumley, top 4. But bouncing around the forums, I discovered Joe Lansdale, and I just got hooked. And he has so many books out there. I just started snapping them all up. So he quickly, in number, jumped to claim 2 shelves on my bookshelves as a product of that. But he's a fantastic writer. I don't like ranking the authors, because it's like whoever you're in the mood for, right? So sometimes Stephen King's the best, sometimes Clive Barker's the best, sometimes Josh Malerman, Joe Lansdale, Sarah Pinborough. All these authors are ready there when you're in the mood for how they write and their tone. So I don't like to put a ranking on the authors, just by number of books. Anyway, I wanted to share the first Joe Lansdale shelf as it is. So obviously there's stuff in the way. This is my actual TBR pile. A lot of people talk about TBR piles as this list of books. I actually try to stack them to keep them at hand whenever I have availability to grab them. Right now I'm currently reading Behind Her Eyes. Fantastic. Sarah Pinborough is just fantastic. She's a great writer, great author, somebody I intend to follow going forward. Anyway, in my TBR pile after that, I have this chapbook from SubPress, Dead Pig Collector. It's just if that cover doesn't get you intrigued, then nothing will. So I can't wait to see what this book's about. Magic by William Goldman. I got this book because Centipede Press was doing an edition of it, and like Paul Suntup, when Jared picks a book to do, that's all the vetting I need. So I grabbed it, and at the library, at their used book section for 50 cents. It's a cool little hardcover, great reading copy. Before I knew Suntup was doing Blood Meridian, I got this because I definitely wanted to read it. So now I have this reading copy that I'm not going to read probably because I'm going to read the Suntup edition whenever that comes. Jeff Vandermeer, Dead Astronauts. I have the Complete Born. I also have the Complete Born and Dead Astronauts from SubPress. I haven't yet read this one, but this is just such a fantastic book. I did an unboxing for these, and you could check that out on my channel. But this is just the coolest trade edition I own, probably. Dog Star by Keith Minion. This is self-published. He talked about this book in the Cemetery Dance Forum. He's another one who is an artist as well as an author, like Keelan Patrick Burke. And so I don't think I've ever read anything by Keith Minion, and this copy was like $10, $12, so I picked it up. Have not read it yet, of course. That's why it's on a TBR pile. And then this is probably the most hated Thomas Harris book. A lot of people read it and said they didn't like it. I got it from Barnes & Noble for $17, and it's signed, so get out of town with that. So I couldn't pass it up. I can't part with it. I plan on reading it, although I'm not jazzed to read it. When you get those reviews back and they're just lukewarm or worse, ice cold, you're not so gung-ho to pick it up and read it. So The most favorable review I heard on this was, it's not that bad. So if that's the best you can muster, then forget it, you know. This is an advanced review copy I got from a great friend of mine in the forums, and I have not read it. This is signed by Brian James Freeman, the editor, and chief flack taker over there at Cemetery Dance. And it has a Josh Malerman story, Dandy, that I want to read, as well as several great authors that I haven't gotten to. So I have the trade. I have the hardcover edition of this, and I have the lettered coming whenever they get the trade cases done. So I'll probably be selling my hardcover later on if I ever get the lettered, which I will get the lettered. I'm just being a smart ass. That's all. These are just boxes. You know, everybody's got crap on their shelves. This is a cool cigar box my wife got for me way back when. I store things in it. Just things. Things you probably shouldn't know about. Same thing with this. Although this is cool. It says Insidious. I never saw that movie. Anyway, so here's my Joe Lansdale shelf. Lot of cool stuff on here. Lots of several. Don't do this to your books, by the way. I don't recommend that. Several publishers represented here. So we could start with Cemetery Dance. Why not? I have somebody who might be buying this book for me. It is a PC edition. It doesn't have the signature sheet, but it has it's 4 killers. And it has I Tell You It's Love by Joe Lansdale. That's why it's on my Lansdale shelf. But I also have this from SST, the graphic novel with art by Daniel Serra. So get out of here. This is it. I Tell You It's Love. And then Paul Fry just threw in a book plate for me, a signed book plate by both Joe Lansdale and Daniel Serra. So, you know, this is the copy that ranks. This is the ranking version of that story. I mean, I just randomly opened to a page I probably can't show. But Daniel Serra art, my favorite, one of my favorite artists. Just fantastic. So I'm probably going to sell this book. Anyway, so on this shelf, I mostly have the standalones. Sunset and Sawdust. And Edge of Dark Water are trade editions. I think I bought them off of eBay as part of a 7-book bundle. I don't remember if they are both signed. Yeah, I think there aren't too many Joe Lansdale books I have that are not signed. So this is one. I found this at the thrift store. The Leather Maiden by Joe Lansdale. Didn't read it. But I was really happy to find a hardcover Joe Lansdale book I never read at the thrift shop. And when I buy from the thrift shop, I always like to leave the price tag on because why not? Because why not? So The Bottoms, this is regarded as one of Joe Lansdale's best books. It is a story of racism and murder in the South. It is brilliant. It is a brilliant book. I read it, loved it. I haven't read those other 3 books I just went through, but I read this one based on the raves. It's not my favorite Joe Lansdale, but it is definitely not in the bottom. Oh. Okay, so I got Dead on the Bones from a dinged grab bag from SubPress. Or no, it wasn't a grab bag. It was dinged. Because it was an ex-library edition, but it is a signed and numbered copy of I believe his Pulp Fiction. I don't remember what the thrust of this is, but it's a collection. Dead on the Bones. Haven't read it yet. From SubPress, I also got Jane Goes North. This is a standalone book, novella. Have not read it yet. Also from SubPress is Joe Lansdale, Driving to Geronimo's Grave. Awesome stories. There's a Nat Love story in there. So I should probably rearrange it to go with Paradise Sky. This is my SST edition of Paradise Sky. I don't know if there are copies still available on SST's site, but if there are, you should make them unavailable and buy them. This is a gorgeous book, and this is Joe Lansdale's second best book, in my opinion. The best one is also on the shelf, but this is probably my second favorite from Joe Lansdale. So there's this is Nat Love, the main character in this book, and he also has a story in Driving to Geronimo's Grave, which is like four pieces of short fiction. I don't know if you want to call them novellas. You can call them whatever you want. Here we are with Bubba and the Cosmic Bloodsuckers and the Long Ones. So these are, again, some collected long fiction from Joe Lansdale. I bought this copy off of eBay for more money than I should have, because I can get these stories elsewhere, and I actually have them in my collection now, so I didn't need a standalone. It's a cool thing to have. It has Bubba Hotep, which I've never read, but I saw the movie with Bruce Campbell. I love Bruce Campbell, so I definitely wanted to get that once I knew Joe Lansdale was the one who authored that story. This Bubba and the Cosmic Bloodsuckers is the prequel to Bubba Hotep. This is the only Joe Lansdale I wasn't crazy about. It was okay. But I don't know. He's written so much better stuff. So every favorite author is gonna have one that just doesn't connect with you. Okay, we're moving on. We're gonna get past that. The Drive-In. This is a Centipede Press edition of 3 novels. The Drive-In omnibus. This was my first exposure to Joe Lansdale, and it is awesome. This is my kind of whacked out horror. I mean, just loved this book, and I guess it'd be my top 4. I guess it's not maybe my top 3. I don't know, but it's up there. Loved The Drive-In. Definitely worth a reread. Okay, so now let me make some room. This is the best Joe Lansdale book, and the best edition of it. This is Earthling Publications. This is a leather slipcase. The Thicket. I bought it from Camelot, so it came with the protective cover. Love this book. Love it. I hear that it could be a movie starring Peter Dinklage, but I don't know if it's ever going to happen. If it is a movie and you do hear of it coming out, please run out and get the book first. That's how I recommend watching movies based on books. Read the book first. And if you can, get this from Earthling. It is a beautiful slipcase, beautiful edition. I don't know why Paul Miller still has them in stock, and it's not Paul Miller's fault. Paul, if you're listening, it's not your fault. But people need to get over there and get that book. It's just his best, then Paradise Sky, and then maybe the bottoms, but probably the Drive-In. The Thicket, Paradise Sky, the Drive-In. All right, the Magic Wagon. Now, this is Borderlands Press. I don't really collect anything from Borderlands Press. I haven't read it. I don't know. There are so many versions of this book out there, but I got it on eBay for a good price. Haven't read it yet, so I don't have an opinion on it. I will give you opinion. I will give you an opinion later. I mean, I can give you an opinion now, and that opinion is I like books, and books are awesome. Books are always better than a movie. There's an opinion. So, rounding out the first shelf, you already saw Paradise Sky, but these are more SST books. Remember when I told you I have since gotten those pieces of longer fiction in books? Well, it's thanks to SST. Paul Fry over there is doing all the short works of Joe Lansdale, and he's collecting them into 4 books. You can see I have 3 of them already. I'm anxiously awaiting that 4th one, and I believe it'll be Happen Leonard stories? I'm not sure. But this is like the cosmic or weird fiction. Blood and Gears is the crime fiction. Wet Juju is the horror fiction. They keep getting bigger and bigger, loaded with artwork, signed. I have unboxing videos for each of these if you want to go back and look at those and see in detail each of these books, but I won't go through it. You'll also see them with the dust jackets off. Very cool as a set. Can't wait to get to that next one. Seriously, guys, if you like Joe Lansdale or if you're curious about him now and want to check him out, he's a fantastic storyteller. But get over to SST. There's so much great Joe Lansdale there, and it's affordable and beautiful and wonderful, and just like the Thicket, I don't know why they're still available. But I'm going to move on to the next shelf of Joe Lansdale, and you get to see more SST. And the next shelf has all my Happen Leonard books. So continuing on with my Joe Lansdale portion of the tour, this is my second Joe Lansdale shelf. Obviously, you could see it sharing space with other authors and other books because Joe is that generous. He's that friendly and welcoming. Again, I like to show my shelf as it is. We clutter our shelves. They're a part of our comfort space. So, we got things like an Oktoberfest beer stein, commemorative vintage cans, which I will probably just recycle, even though they're like 40 years old. We dug them out of my father-in-law's crawl space, and I couldn't bear to throw them out. St. Patty's Day, 1986. I have a stupid leprechaun tattoo on my left arm, and this leprechaun actually looks better than my stupid leprechaun tattoo, to give you a sense of how stupid I was when I was 21. Anyway, the other books here, these are Japanese horror manga that my son reads, and he's like, "Dad, you got to read them." And I'm like, "Son, I have to read them." And so here they are. I love that I can put my kids' books on my shelf with my books. I do wish I had more space. I would love to ultimately have a couple more, units, and I could put all these books out, all my trade editions, all this stuff that I can't even include in this tour, and put them all out there, and definitely have my kids' stuff right next to it because, getting across that level, reading and is a fun thing to share with the kids. But of course, I never force anybody into anything. This is his speed. Uzumaki is just crazy. I do want to read it. And if you don't know this, Japanese books, you read from the back cover to the front cover. And this is an author. The author is the artist for this manga. And I can't wait to read it. It looks crazy. And then this is Jiu-Jitsu Kaizen. This is a series. He has all of them on pre-order up to like 14 or 13 or whatever. And he has copy 0, which is like a prequel or prelude. And so he's gone through these. He tears through these rather quickly. They're a lot of fun. I'm actually watching the anime with him. And this is a really cool story. So we're just going to put those down here for now until my son Ian can give you a bookshelf tour someday. And then to get these all out of the way, these are my Folio Society editions. I only have 4. The Road, A Clockwork Orange, Something Wicked This Way Comes. Ooh, oh my goodness. And Fahrenheit 451. So those are great books, and I have unboxings for all of these if you'd like to see them in detail. So that leaves the Joe Lansdale. And on this shelf, I have all his Happen Leonard that I own. So I've never read any Happen Leonard. And that is a key signature series for Joe Lansdale. These are two two detectives in East Texas, and they have quite a following. There was a TV show, a series, short-lived, that broke a lot of people's hearts when it didn't get renewed. They had quite the following, and so I had planned on reading all the books and then watching the show, because I think TV, as weird as it is, TV is probably the best way to translate written works. But, what can you do when they cancel it? So then my TBR pile, this is actually another TBR pile, because I plan on reading these Happen Leonard books. Savage Season and Cold in July. I read Cold in July. That was a movie starring Dexter. I kid. It's starring the actor who played Dexter. Dexter's going to actually have another season, so I'm looking forward to that. And it was a good movie, but the book is better, of course. So these two are unsigned, and then the Tbr Mambo, really cool little press. I don't even know. It's like James Cavill Press. I like this production here. It wasn't even particularly valuable. I believe it was signed. Yeah, and it's a PC copy that I grabbed off of eBay. So it's not a real number, but it's signed, and it's a quality binding. It's cool. Then I got Mucho Mojo, an ARC that I bought off of eBay. I just wanted the ARC, but as a bonus, it was signed. And it's my understanding that Joe Lansdale will no longer sign ARCs, because ARCs are not meant to be sold. They are meant to get early reviews and gin up hype in a book, and also for proofreading and all that, right? So it takes away sales when people get the ARC and don't actually buy a hardcover. So he didn't want to encourage people collecting ARCs, not just for him, of course, but for all authors. It's a way of saying, hey, just buy the book, man. Get the book, support the authors, support publishing, small publishers. Here is another Happen Leonard. This is, I bought at a thrift shop. This is why you see a price tag on it. Cheap. Very happy with that. And then I have 2 copies of Captain's Outrageous. And that's funny, because I bought one in a bundle with some other Joe Lansdale books. It came out to $10 per book. And I think there were 7 books in the set. And this is the signed SubPress edition of Captain's Outrageous. And then Joe Lansdale was in social media saying he'd be willing to open up the vault and sell some first editions he has signed. So I took him up on it, and I forgot I had Captain's Outrageous. And I actually had it signed to Jeffing Off. So that was cool. That was really cool. I got this and a few others from that purchase. Vanilla Ride, Happen Leonard. I think this was part of that 7-book set I bought on eBay. And this one was not signed, I believe, or was it? It was. Look at that. Like I said, I think almost all of his books I have signed. Double Red, I bought directly from Joe, his own self. Same with Honky Tonk Samurai. And then I have these. So, Cocoa Butternut is a novella from SubPress. Really nicely done. There are copies available. So it's a Happen Leonard novella. And that's Happen Leonard. I don't know who's Hap. I don't know who's Leonard. I think he's Leonard. I think he's Hap. I don't know. That's Cocoa Butternut. I'll tell you that. I know that. But I will be reading these. Apologies again. This is Gauntlet Press. Now, you're not going to see many books from Gauntlet Press on my shelves because the quality just ain't there. This was a lettered edition, and it was like one of the first lettered editions I bought, and I wanted to check out Gauntlet to see what they could do. Completely unimpressed. This cover is lame. I don't know how else to say it. It looks like stock photography pasted onto the dust jacket. Just doesn't look good. The paper quality is like a dime store paperback. This paper is the cheapest paper. I wouldn't even want this paper in like a $60 book. You know, I mean, it's just pathetic. But it is lettered, and I got JJ. It's lettered to 52 copies, signed by Joe Lansdale and James Purefoy, who played. He was an actor, one of the main actors in the Hap and Leonard series on TV, and he wrote the introduction or the foreword. What did he write? The introduction. So he signed it too. That's cool. I mean, you know, that's cool. I liked James Purefoy as an actor in The Following, and then it has like a leather type cover, but just, you know, I did it once, checked it out. Gauntlet Press. Probably won't be going back to Gauntlet Press anytime soon for anything. Just not my thing. No offense, just not my thing. Rounding out the Hap and Leonard are more SST collection. Blood and Lemonade, the big book of Hap and Leonard. Awesome stuff. So this stuff predates. So when you start reading about Hap and Leonard in Savage season, they're, I think, full-grown adults or whatever. This goes back to when they were kids or young adults and how they formed their friendship, I believe. Again, I didn't read them. SST did them. Unfortunately, there were some SST books I didn't grab. There's stuff that's new on the site. You know, it's just right now I can't really swing it all, so I had to pass. But it pains me that I had to pass because SST, Joe Lansdale, winning combination. Again, highly recommend you get over there and check it out. And then these are two standalone books, Freezer Burn and Act of Love. Now, Freezer Burn, what's interesting is I heard a lot of stuff about this book before I even knew Joe Lansdale. I was just talking about this book. So this has always been a book I've been curious about. So I've got to read it. And it's signed. I was actually like, I think this is one of the unsigned ones. Nope, this is signed. Freezer Burn and then Act of Love. So very happy to have those, of course, as with all the Joe Lansdale. And then rounding it out, we have MIA Hunter. So this was some Soldier of Fortune fiction that Joe Lansdale wrote under a pseudonym, and SubPress pulled them out, put it together. I bought this during a sale. Usually Soldier of Fortune stuff isn't my bag, but Joe Lansdale is so good, and he writes with such humor and storytelling power that I had to try it out. So, and then finally, this is an arc of Big Lizard, written with his son Keith, published by SST. What a great book. I loved this book. This is a lot like The Drive-In, which introduced me to Joe Lansdale, but with a little bit of a different sort of pace to it and not as cosmic or over the top, even though it features a huge lizard and a huge chicken engaged in demonic warfare. So, great book. I would definitely recommend getting this. The hardcover with the art. I don't have the art. See, no art in there. The art is awesome. The signature page is just fantastic. So, again, I recommend you get over to SST and check that out. So that's my Joe Lansdale collection. All my Joe Lansdale books on 2 shelves. I do have, 8 more shelves to go? And it'll divide it up into like maybe at least 5 more parts. So stick around. There's more on the way. I'll probably be doing these once a week until my bookshelf has been entirely exposed. So thanks for sticking with it. Hope you saw some books. Hope you got some ideas for authors and publishers, and just a kick out of seeing these, which I had a kick out of showing them, to be quite honest. To be quite honest with you. You think my kids like me talking about my books? No. No, they don't.